joining as well on Facebook. And we're going to see if we can. Alrighty, let's see here. Thank you for joining in. We're going to give a few moments for us to set up and have Dr. Quinn join in with me today. All right, thanks for joining. I am on a farm, and so literally you hear my dogs, all of my animals just have a fit outside at the moment. I'm not sure why, but anyway, so they should stop howling. I think a siren goes by. Whenever a siren goes by, my dogs just start all the howling with the sirens. Okay, so we're waiting for Dr. Quinn to join in with us. So welcome. Good morning, Vincent. How are you, my friend? All right, let's see. Thanks for joining in. Waiting for Dr. Quinn to log on in here. Hopefully her connection is good and she's not having any problem. Let's see. Okay, thanks. She's coming in with us. Good morning to all the friends here on YouTube. We're gonna once again.
Hey y'all!
Hi there! Yay! There you go. All right. Any luck on that link? Any luck on the link?
Nope, still haven't seen it.
And you check your social media tab. There's like a social media tab too. That's in Gmail. And sometimes maybe it's popped into there. I don't know. We'll give that one more look at it, and then if not, we'll just go ahead and.
Let me type in Google Hangouts and see if anything is hanging out over there.
Okay. Invitation posted. So you got another one. And so as well, when you get a moment to do that, go ahead and share the Facebook Live to wherever you like to put it. Just share it. Okay. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to share it to one spot I need to get it to. Let me refresh the page, and then we'll get started. Thanks, everybody. Tell us where you're from, where you're joining us from. What state are you in? What location? Hey, Vincent. Hey, Mandy. Good morning.
Hey, Ricky. Hey, Siobhan. What y'all doing, girl?
All right, we're going to share. When you do that, just let me know.
Whenever you are ready.
We have Dr. Quinn with us today. Woo! Out of Georgia. So excited. Can't wait to start our interview with her. Hey, Vincent from Texas. I didn't realize you're in Texas. That's wonderful. How about that? Hi, Siobhan from Alabama. Thanks for joining us. Ricky from Washington. So have you already shared where you would like to put it at?
Girl, I can't find it. Let me see. Hold on.
Refresh your Facebook page.
Child, I done did that 3 times. I'm going to get it, though. Hold on.
Okay.
We can go ahead.
All right.
Pull you up your live up right here, and we're going to get it.
All right. Good morning, Ricky. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're in for a treat with Dr. Quinn, Dr. Sheva Quinn. Okay. All right. Here we go. You work on that, and hopefully you get it shared. If not, you can do it later, but here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Good morning, girlfriends. This is Angela Jordan Pear with Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling, and we are in for a treat today with Dr. Sheva Quinn. Woo! Are you ready to make this happen, Dr. Quinn?
Girl, yeah, I ain't never had this much excitement. Come on, let's do it.
All right, let me tell you. Well, Dr. Sheva Quinn is a retired Air Force veteran and Homeschool Mogul with over 20 years of experience in the field of education and 8 years as a homeschool professor and coach. Dr. Quinn focuses her area of teaching and learning in grades kindergarten through sixth grade, African American history, and STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Dr. Sheva Quinn has been teaching STEM courses on college campuses and university and to homeschool students both on and offline for over 8 years. She recently opened the first virtual African American Classical Academy for kindergarten through sixth grade, which is Black Classical Academy. Sheva has a fast growing Facebook community. Homeschooling with Dr. Sheva Quinn is the name of it. And she recently launched the broadcast, Black Homeschoolers Speak. Her education and homeschool social media reach is estimated at 185,000. Now, as a single mother and homeschool coach, she helps other homeschool families get clear about their homeschool vision and get motivated in achieving their goals. As an educational coach, she helps teachers develop online schools and attract new students. Wow. So she is the author of the book, Homeschooling in Georgia, and is currently working on her second book and 2 anthologies. Dr. Quinn is also very active in her local community through teaching free and sold out events in the fields of business development, nonprofit development, grant writing, grant writing, crowdfunding, and sponsorship to start up businesses. Her community volunteer activities include Lego education and robotics, FLL judge, STEM educator, United States Army, Cyber mission judge, NASA educator, Museum of Aviation educator, Pink STEM, Real Impact and Black Girls Code consultant. Wow, I have told you quite a bit about Dr. Sheva Quinn with an impressive bio. But Dr. Quinn, please tell us more about yourself if there's not anything not said. And how did you get started in homeschooling?
I'm flying by the seat of my pants. How about that? Wow, how did I get started in homeschooling? You know, it was one of those things to where I just the education system was not going to work for me and my kids. Like, by me being an educator already, when I went to, put my kids in daycares and that type of thing, it just wasn't working too well. And I think one of the first incidents was when the teacher didn't want to give me the sight words so that my kids can study, or so that my child could study over the break. And she didn't want to give them sight words, and I just wasn't hearing it. So I had already had the notion to, pull my kids out and homeschooling myself. I just wasn't getting the support from my community that I thought that I needed. So finally I was like, forget this. I'm just going to do it. Regardless if I had the support in place or not, I was just going to do it because that's what the Spirit was leading me to do. So heck, I did it. I sent the teacher a note because I was in California at the time. I sent the teacher a note and told her my child would not be returning. I sent the kid's dad a message as well and told him don't take school on Monday morning, and that was that. And we've been home ever since. Okay. But I really got started before then. I homeschooled my niece. She went to high school out here in our area, and our high schools are just not the best. So when she came out here, she wasn't doing well in school. So I took her out of school and used an online program to help get her through college. And yeah, so that was that.
Okay. So how many children are you homeschooling? And what grade level?
I only have 2 that I homeschool now. Okay. But at one time, like I said, I did have 3, which was also my niece.
Okay.
But I only have 2 children by birth. I'm trying to give you no more kids. I only got 2 children by birth.
Okay. And what grade levels are they?
Get through education.
I hear you. What grade levels are you homeschooling them?
We are an array of K through 3. So like my she's supposed to be kindergarten. She's bridging first and second. We just do whatever feels right to them. My second grade is bridging third, so whatever works.
Okay. So do you have a special format? Are you more traditional, classical? What does your homeschool journey look like? Or is it unschooling? Just go with what you like? What does it look like?
After you have been doing this for so long, I think around the magical year mark of 3, you just kind of figure out what works in so much as a title as to what you do. just kind of goes out the window and you go with the flow of what works at that time. So I kind of like to refrain from giving us a title, because one point, we were all curriculum. In the beginning, we were using a curriculum, right? And then we went from that and we went more eclectic. And then from more eclectic, we started getting on the road more and traveling more. So it became schooling in a car. And then this past semester, which was, this past fall, we tried co-op again, and it just really didn't work out well. So hell, we just doing whatever.
Okay.
As long as we getting it done, we doing it.
Right. And so you mentioned that, you don't like to have the titles. You just want to get it done, whatever it looks like. About a third year, you kind of, figure it out, or you already know it, so you follow through with it. So for our homeschool moms who are fairly new, I mean, this is your, what did you say, eighth
This
year?
is our 8th year homeschooling.
8th year homeschooling. So for homeschool moms who are, maybe in their 8th year, that, period of time, and they still feel like, I don't know what I'm doing, pulling their hair out. I mean, what encouragement or insights can you tell them that you have found to be a benefit to say, to develop that confidence?
Well, with me, it all starts with a vision. You got to know exactly what you want out of your homeschool. If you don't have a vision as to where you want your family to go, it's going to be difficult. I'm not going to say it can't be done, but it is going to be difficult. So once you start with the vision, the rest of it kind of get in place. Like I said, last year or somewhat this year, we've been doing a lot on the road, right? We've been getting out and traveling, doing a lot of schoolwork in the car. And again, that's part of the vision. The vision that I have is that I want my children to learn more about African American history and culture. Well, guess what? I'm in Georgia, where this was part of the civil rights movement, and we got all these museums and things around us. So with that vision being in place, I'm getting out, taking advantage of what's available to me. When it was in the early years, and I was really focused on phonics and all that, the vision was to make sure my children had a solid foundation in literacy, right? And being able to read. So therefore, I spent a lot of time in curriculums that gave us that foundation we need there. So it's all about the vision. Listen, there's 50 million curriculums out there. There's 50 million programs out there. Anything can work if you're going to make it work. Right. But at the end of the day, is it fulfilling your vision? Because we can have these programs, but we can still feel lost if we don't know the vision. What is the vision?
Right. That is huge. And you're absolutely right. If you don't have a vision, I mean, even to the degree of deciding if in your homeschool, how long do you want to homeschool? What is your purpose? I tell people to figure out your why you're doing it. That's how I give the terminology to it. Because if you know that why and you have that vision, that's going to help you go, keep going the next day, the next week, the next month. It's going to propel you. You got to remember that why that even caused you to start in the first place. Because we forget when we're in the thick of it and you're going through years of schooling, you forget, why did I decide this? Because today is not a good day, or I'm ready for something different. Why? It always starts. Yes. You agree?
Yeah, it definitely starts with why. I mean, if anything, you got to know why you're doing it. Even on a job, hell, if you don't know why you going to work every day, why you go? I like to put it like, if I wake up in the morning and know that it's payday, I'm going to work to get my check. If I wake up that day and I don't feel like going, it's not payday, I ain't going. Exactly. So what's the why? What's the why? And it same applies to homeschooling your children. You got to definitely be in touch with your why. But even with that why, it still has to be a vision in place. I know part of my vision is, like I said, I wanted my children to be able to read and write soundly, because that was an area that my family suffered with. So I didn't want that to follow onto my children. Right about now, we don't know, as a people, as a culture, we don't know our history. So right about now, that's a vision that is in front of me. Get out there, learn about your people. They can read now, they can write now. So we just turn most of our assignments into lessons related to African American history and culture, which is why I started the academy, because of the fact I wanted to have an environment to where we can practice that. Hey, listen, it's good to learn about, other people in poetry and language and all that. I'm not discouraging that. I'm not knocking that at all. But by the same token, we got to give our children the opportunity to know their history as it relates to poetry and literature and those types of things. So it's trying to get it right, trying to right what was wrong.
Absolutely. Thank you. And kudos to you for doing that. and you know, putting things in concrete place for us to glean from. So kudos. Thank you so much. So let me ask you this. Also, let's dive a little bit deeper too. And thank you all for the hearts and the comments and the thumbs up. If you are loving this interview so far, please continue to give those hearts, thumbs up, give some dialogue. If you have some questions, pertinent questions for Dr. Sheva as well, go ahead and put those in there. And if we have time permitting, we will also get those questions in. So let me ask you this. As a single mother, this is what you mentioned in your bio, and you're homeschooling 2 children as a single mother. What have you found that to be a challenge? I mean, that's all you know, then that's all you know. But can you speak to that for those moms who, you know, desiring to homeschool and they're a single mom, and or maybe, you know, they're that one income family. She's the speak to that. What can it be done? Can it be done successfully?
You probably don't want me to answer this question because, you know, it might not be the answer that everybody want to hear. This the part of the conversation where people start being like, oh, I can't roll with Sheva because Sheva, you know, she too truthful. So here it is, okay? In the 21st century, there is nothing you cannot do. If you want to homeschool your children, you can homeschool your children. It's just simply figuring it out. And when I mean that you can do it, what I mean by that is that there are communities out there, and even past that, you can work from home. Do you know how many opportunities you can create for yourself? Like, I got a new job every week. You know, there's just so much that you can do. Yes, you may have to get in there and take some classes and learn how to, you know, maneuver some of these apps and programs online. But you can do it. I have friends that have created boutique stores. I mean, selling like $5,000 a month just by selling their stuff online.
Right.
So, I mean, I get that it may not be what you want to do, but the way I see it is like this. Sometimes you got to put that passion aside and go to what's paying you, you know, profit over passion is what's working in my world. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think that in this day and age, the excuses are very limited. Like I said, if you cannot work from home, if adjusting your schedule does not work well for you, then hire someone to homeschool your child. I mean, there are services out there, even online. A lot of times I talk to parents, they're like, well, you know, my child is 14 and she's really not that responsible, so I'm scared to leave her home by herself. Dude, if this is something that your child wants, if your child wants to be homeschooled, if you got to go to work, turn the alarm on. You got an app on, you got an ADT app on your phone that lets you know every time that doorbell opens or closes. You know what I mean? So the reasons I think that we sometimes feed ourselves are just not sufficient. It's our fear. It's not the child. It's our fear. And I mean, kids these days got careers. I'm trying to tell you, they ain't playing. Kids showing up adults these days. I mean, even my children, they got a cake business going on. They starting a YouTube channel. But past that, I know plenty of people that children are just doing it big. And the only way to really support your child is to allow them to be homeschooled. But because of the fact that we fear and we giving in to what other people have told us, what our you know, elders have said, and how we cheating, people have fought for our education and all that, what we doing? We sticking with the norm. Right. Whereas your child could possibly be the next millionaire if you just believe in the opportunity to do things differently. Right. And that's it.
Right. That is so good. And that is key, because fear paralyzes us from doing a lot of things, and things that we could really, I mean, we could do if we don't listen to the fear. Fear is, what do they say, the acronym? False evidence appearing real. So there's no, that, you know, nothing that we can't do. Exactly right. And the other thing I appreciate what you said is that just make it happen. If we want something bad enough, if we want it bad enough, we will figure out a way to make it happen. Make it happen.
When I first started out, you know, money was looking funny because the military was getting my checks all wrong and all that. Child, I was in here doing photography. Look, my kids have always been my advertisement. You know, I put my kids on some tutus and took them some pictures, and next thing I know, I had a photography business out my garage. Right. I had a tutu business out of my garage for the simple fact that, hey, I needed some money. Yeah, we needed to eat, and at the time, like I said, I had 3 kids. You know, my niece, so it had to happen. But yeah, you just we have so much in our hand. We just gotta make it work. Your gifts are in your hand. Your talent is already there. Just tap into it. Like, I know that my brain is my talent. So, you know, I try to use my brain as much as possible. People ask me all the time, why, how you doing this? And why, how you doing so much? And, you know, how is this going and all that?
Yeah.
Well, it all goes back to the fact that I realized that my gift is in my brain. You know, I have a good brain.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just that simple. So yeah, and I have to
Find
make
out.
it work. If I don't use my
Yeah.
brain, we don't eat. It's just that
I hear
simple.
you. I hear you. So basically, these homeschool moms who want to do it, number one, don't give into an excuses that you can't do it because I need more money, or I need a two-income family, or I'm single, or in most states, just depending on your state, I mean, your education level, GED or higher in the state that I am in. So you can get around excuses other than that. There's really no excuse if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, that I mean, hire somebody. You know, if you can't homeschool your child because of the fact you may not have the degree requirement in your area. I know in Georgia, I got to have a high school diploma or a GED.
Yeah.
And I think most states are like that. But if not, you know, you may have to hire somebody until you can get your footing under you. You know, like you might need to go back to night school. Because here's the thing: once you do start homeschooling, you never stop learning. You become a student all over again. So go on and get in it, because it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. So or even past that, you know, hire your niece or your cousin or a mother, or auntie, whoever. Someone supports you. We always think that we don't have support around us because we run into a lot of negativity on this journey. But there's someone that you know, respects you, even if they don't support you. You know, I mean, I get people all the time giving us free stuff. Hey, I see that your children are trying to learn this. Here's this. What's your address? Can I send you this? You know what I mean? So support comes in different forms. It really does. But you just gotta want it. You gotta want it. And you gotta put yourself out there. Like when I started homeschooling, I was like, here I am, front and center. Let's get this done. And I got criticism like crazy, because it's like, how you gonna do this? You know, because I had a degree in education, so I was expected to go to work.
Okay.
So yeah, just got to make it happen, y'all. Get out there and do it.
Get it done. All right. Dr. Sheva, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are listening to Dr. Sheva. Give her some thumbs up to her heart. She's on fire. She's on fire. So here we go. We're going to add, going a little bit deeper. You mentioned the support. And you're right. It is, especially when you're just starting, support system is great to have. But again, you can't allow that to be your excuse. But share with us what support did you have that you pulled on when you first got started 8 years ago?
Okay, so when I first started, I was retiring from the military, so I was leaving England and coming to America. Okay. And you know, I had my family here waiting for us to come, so that was good. And also, I was starting my doctoral program. And so what would happen is that my mom would watch the kids on the weekend while I went to school. Okay. But don't get it twisted. At night, while I was writing papers and doing dissertations, I still had them babies. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that was very key. And then I also had a friend that would come over one day during the week and help us fold laundry, put laundry away. And so that was helpful. And I didn't even ask this friend. She would just come to my house and be like, "Oh my goodness, what y'all got going on here? Girl, let me fold these clothes." She liked doing laundry, so I would let the laundry sit there till she came. But you know, and then with the kid's dad, he lives like maybe 5 minutes away from here. And so most of the time he gets them on the weekend, if not during the week or whenever it just works. And so we just make it work. When I had my niece and I had the kids, like I said, I helped her get through school, and part of her job was to help me with the kids, with the younger kids. So my kids started reading like when they were around 2 years old or so, because that was part of my niece's job. I teach you, you teach the younger ones. Okay. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah. So it became this, I mean, it was from the beginning, it was understood that this family has to work together. And I kept instilling that. Like, I'm like, if you call me and I don't answer the phone, it's because I'm teaching, right? If you want to help, come help teach. You know? Right. It was just the type of boundaries that I set, and the communication that I put into the minds of those people that wanted to actually be a part of our life. Like, don't be coming over here just to sit around and talk, because we ain't got time for that. You know, get to work, pick up a broom, whatever. Yeah, right. Yeah. Nice, nice. Well, let me ask you this. Let's dive into some specific questions here. So these can be short answers, but just some questions to pick your brain, okay? This is one of my favorite questions.
what was your worst day of homeschooling to the degree
Hmm.
that you would have quit? You almost quit, but you didn't. And this is the reason why you are the amazing homeschool mogul that you is 8 years today. Take us to that day or that time.
You know, to be honest, I really cannot recall that day because I've never just felt like I wanted to quit because I've always felt like this was the only option. You know, like again, I said, I come from an environment of illiteracy. Like people can't read in my family. People can't write in my family. People like it's just not happening. Even I had a reading problem. I didn't realize I had a reading problem until I was in the military trying to have to take promotional exams. Like so for me, when the teacher said that she couldn't give me the damn sight words, oh, I had a problem because reading was just that important to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, if I don't make sure that my children know how to read, if I don't make sure they learn how to write and not just sight words, I'm not knocking anybody that uses sight words, but for me, that wasn't enough. Like I need you to know how to phonetically sound out these words. Even now, we're learning spelling. I have been through maybe 50 spelling books. I ain't gonna say 50, maybe about four spelling, books trying to just find the right spelling program for my child. And it's
Okay.
just not there. So what does
Okay.
that result to? Get out the dictionary. We're gonna look these words up in the dictionary. You're gonna learn how they are pronounced correctly, based on how it's broken down. You're gonna
Right.
learn how to use it in a sentence and all that. So the dictionary is my spelling book
Okay.
because I feel like that. I mean, this we just have to get this right. And
Right.
then, even with my niece, when I seen that my niece was struggling, she was having a hard time, and sometimes that was difficult because of the fact that I didn't like the environment she was in at school. They didn't have any books there. And I'm
Mhm.
like, how the fool the school ain't got no books? So when I go to the school to try to figure out what's going on there, and they like, well, we can't give everybody a book. They talking all crazy. So
Yeah.
then I bought my niece books. And then when I bought her books, now she getting bullied and getting hated and stuff because she got books and they don't. What kind
Really?
of
My,
foolishness is
really?
this? So anyway, when I brought her home, it just became a matter of having one more mouth to feed during the day that I didn't have before.
Hmm.
But even still, I mean, it was just, hey, put your talents to work. I gave her my Cricut machine. I taught her how to buy some weave offline. She was selling weave. I mean, we have always had some hustles going on in this
Wow.
house because education is just not is to quit on education. It's not an option for me. Like
Right.
my house ain't even a house. Like I don't have no furniture. I mean, it's straight bookcases everywhere, a table in the middle of
Education.
the floor. People don't come over here to hang out. You coming over here, you gonna read something.
I love it. Wow. You like serious cutthroat. I love it. I love it. Wow. So tell me, so since you can't think of a day where you actually have felt like I'm just gonna quit, I can't do this. What is your self-talk? You got to have some self-talk that has propelled you and kept you going for 8 years. Share, what is that? What does that sound like for Dr. Sheva?
I just taught this in a summit this past week, and there are so many things that I tell myself, but one thing that I constantly tell myself is that it's all on you. If you don't do it, then who's going to do it? Like, you got to make it count. You got to leave everything on the table. Let's get about our business. Like,
Yeah.
this is not going to be our life, as far as like when the house is in disarray, when everything is not in its proper place, when laundry is everywhere, I just tell myself, this ain't gonna be our life. Let's get about our business. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of self-affirmations I have to feed myself because it does get tough. Like, I mean, it does. The reality of it is that it's not easy. But on the other end of that is that we got to get through it because there's no other option. It's when you have a backup plan, when you have a plan B, it's easy to go to plan B.
That's right.
When A
That's
started
right.
looking funky, you can go to B.
That's
But
right.
with me, there's no B. This
That's
is
right.
it. I don't care if we had to sit here and watch YouTube and videos for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
That's
That's
right.
what it's gonna be.
Okay.
Because this is it. This
That's
is
got you.
it.
There's no plan B. I love that. There's no plan B. And a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
homeschoolers, when they start with a plan B in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right? So they say, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to step in. I'm going to put my toe in it, see what it looks like. And if not, I always have public school, or I always have there's a plan
Mm-hmm.
B. Plan B always allows you to quit and give up, right?
Yeah. For some people it does, yeah. Because you have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I taught at the museums out here, and part of my job was a science teacher. And part of that science teacher job was to go and teach science to all the schools in my county. And I would go into these schools and I'm like, this ain't gonna work. Like I was in a position almost to where I couldn't have a plan B because the plan B wasn't a good plan B.
Okay, gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, Dr. Sheba, tell us again, just one quick. As soon as you think of this, what comes to mind? What is one of your favorite mantras or quotes that you find yourself repeating as you're along this homeschool journey? What's your favorite quote?
Whew, Lord have mercy. Lord Jesus, help me. I mean, you know, I know what you're trying to get at, but that's just what I say constantly. And it's so bad that my kids, my youngest one, when I say Lord Jesus, she'll finish it off with help me. Because I mean, I just say it so much, but I know that's not what you're getting at, but that's just it. I mean, it constantly is like, Lord Jesus, ooh, help me. Okay, now Jesus, okay, now come on, now let's pull it together. Where's my grace at today? I mean, you know, give me a little bit more grace, you know, that type of thing. But I'm in constant prayer, open prayer, you know, in that manner. Lord Jesus, help me. Because I feel like that if you don't speak what you need, then it's not going to come.
True.
You know what I mean? So I'm constantly saying, help me, help me.
Right.
And like I said, sometimes that help might show up at the door. Somebody wanting to come and, you know, fold clothes. Sometimes that help might come that, hey, somebody sent us a donation for $50. I mean, we get all kind of help. Sometimes I think
that's beautiful.
We don't always, you know, recognize it, but help shows up.
Yeah. And that goes to speak to the power that's in your tongue and the words, power that we have in our words to speak, declare, to form, to bring it to pass what we're thinking and our confession. And that's what you do. I think a lot of parents maybe don't have that mindset and the power of their tongue, the power of the words that you can speak, and we can form and create things with our words. And so I hope you all take away with that. What you speak comes, and likewise, the negative to that. The negative.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So power in our words to speak the positive, create the positive, or create the negative. So moms, you got to watch out your words, what you're saying to your kids. I like that. It says, Lord Jesus, help me. Yes, I have heard that. I mean, I think that's a mantra in Black households all the time before we about to do something or hurt somebody or something. Lord Jesus, help me. So, tell us your habit. What is your daily habit? What does your habit look like? I mean, people don't recognize that the power that's in a habit sets the tone for just getting things done. Share what your habit looks like.
Yeah. I get up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I get up, you know, I do some meditation and praying and all that. Well, my foot is broke right now, so I haven't been able to do much exercising, but after that, I would go exercise, walk on a treadmill for about 30 minutes to an hour. I got a treadmill in my garage. Okay. And then I'll start looking over kids' lessons or whatever, or if I'm teaching at night, get my lessons together. You know, if I'm just whatever work, I'll go to work, right? Okay. And so the kids, now they get up around 9 o'clock, but before then they would get up like around 8. So they get up around 8 or 9. Okay. And then from there, it's all about them. And we go to like around 2 or 3 as far as doing schoolwork off and on. And I really don't like to go past 3 o'clock, you know, as far as being engaged in work. Now, we don't do it straight from like 9 to 3. We take breaks, have lunch and all that. But that's the time, 3 o'clock is the time, like, okay, if we ain't done it now, we done. And then from that time, you know, we just go about life. If we got appointments or things to do, we just go about life. But typically, my homeschool day starts, I wake around 3 o'clock in the morning to get going.
Wow. Ladies, did y'all hear that? Did you all hear 3 o'clock in the morning?
My alarm goes off at 3.
Okay, so if you start your day at 3 a.m., Dr. Sheba, what time are you going to bed? What time is that?
Ideally, it's around 11-ish. Around 11-ish. So
you don't need you can operate on a little sleep. Someone here, she asked, how many hours of sleep do you average per night?
No more than
2, 3. Is that about 4 hours?
Yeah, no more than about 4. And I think, you got to understand, I'm military, right? Okay. I've been doing this for over 20 years. Like, my body, first of all, you know, if you come out military, you ain't got insomnia, those type of things, and then something wrong with you. Like, you need to go get checked out if you ain't got insomnia, right? Wow. But, you know, we are programmed to get up early, especially being a senior leadership position, like you got to be in place before your troops come in.
Right.
You got to be done did your PT before the troops get there, because you got to make sure they doing what they supposed to do. So you get up early, you take care of you first, and then you are able to engage with everyone else. And even it being in the military, you may get off of work at 5 o'clock, but when you get home, you still got reports to write, you still got research to do, you still got everything that you need to do in order to make that operation run smoothly when you go back in at 5 o'clock in the morning. So it's just a mindset. Pretty much for me, everything I did in the military, I just transitioned it to home. Everything from organizational management to planning and all that. It just came with me. I just changed the environment, but it's the same process.
That is very good, especially for moms who are coming home from work and coming home to homeschooling. I mean, stopping working to homeschool or something like that. Take who you are, all of the skills, knowledge, and abilities that you've used that made you to be successful in what you're doing, and figure out how to translate that into home and work it like a champ, like you did in the work.
Yeah, my thing is your homeschool is a business, an organization. Like, you run it like an organization. How you gonna go out here on these other folks' job and you gonna give them the best of you? You gonna be on time. You gonna show up. You gonna have good feedback in meetings and all that. You're going to be a key player in somebody else's organization, but you half-assing it at home. Like, that don't work. The same thing you get them other folks on their job, you give it to your job, and your job is homeschooling. Give it up. If you ain't left something on the table by the end of the week, and what I mean, if you ain't put your foot in it, if you ain't made it stink, like if you ain't walked away and saying, you know what, I did that today, then hey, you need to go do it again, because you do it for the other people when you were working. If you did work, you stayed there, you made sure all programs was in order and all that, because why? You knew that if you didn't do that job, you weren't gonna get your check. Well, guess what? Our check looks a little different. Our check is our children. Our check is that, you know what, if I make sure they got what they need as far as education goes, they are going to be set. You may not see the payoff and get your check until maybe 15 or 18 years later, but you're going to get that check. It's the same thing. Just the same thing you give to another organization, give it to your home organization.
That's good.
That's how I look at it.
That's good. Wow, you guys, Dr. Sheva is on fire. On fire. Did you all hear what this preaching, straight up preaching? That's called homeschool preaching. So thank you. Oh my goodness. I thank you. And that does, I hope you all get some value from this, because that says a lot. What you would do out, if you're getting a paycheck, you should not be doing any less, because you're not getting a physical paycheck, but you are making the investment in your children's lives and in their future. And that's just as what's the word? More of a, I guess you could say, a pay than just getting an actual paycheck. You know.
Yeah, because they gotta take care of you when you get old. I mean, if you train them to take care of you.
That's right. I got 8. 8 children.
Yeah, so
somebody gotta help their mama. That's right. That's right. Let me ask you this: what's the best piece of homeschooling advice you have ever received?
Oh wow, let me see. The best homeschooling advice I have ever received is that it's not a race. It's not a race. You know, like even with saying what grade my children are in, there's sometimes, to even have to think about that seems as if, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong, because according to society, your age identifies what grade you're supposed to be in, right? Well, okay, so if my child isn't starting 3rd grade, if my child's in 3rd grade and she's 8 years old, well, then I must be doing something wrong. Well, the reality of it is that maybe my child has not gotten to that level yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not a race to the finish line. It's not a race to see if my child can graduate high school by the age of 16. No, it's can my child be able to function as an adult when she does leave the nest? You know what I mean? It's not a race. It's not a race.
Right. Do you have a favorite curriculum or someone? We had a question from Angel Batson. Her question was, name your top 5 books for people of color that you can find in the library. If you can do that off the top of your head.
Oh my goodness. What's wrong? You got hit by the swing. Okay, we'll go lay down on the bed, okay? Let's see. Find in a library? Wow. Well, of course, I like everything African American history and culture. I ain't even gonna lie. If you can teach me about some slavery, if you can teach me about, just I love Harriet Tubman, Langston Hughes. I like Langston Hughes because his mindset doing poetry, like he was writing about his world. I know you said in the library.
Well, in your, I'm sorry, how about in your
in my
personal
library?
library? Yeah,
Oh
your
my
personal
goodness.
library.
Jesus. Whew. Oh, Malcolm X, MLK. Y'all already know. Like, I just love our history. I just love our culture. I just love learning about how we can be better, Like, I feel like if you don't understand your past, it's difficult for you to really be present and benefit it's difficult to be present in the moment and benefit in being in that moment. So right. I'm always studying history just because I don't know.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Do you have any specific books you can say, listen, every homeschooler should have this book, every Black homeschooler should have this book? You have any books you can say right off that you can suggest?
Well, the first one would be Why Johnny Can't Read. Now, it's not a black or white book, but the name of the book is Why Johnny Can't Read. And what it talks about is simply why it's important for us to know phonics. I think this book is probably written like in the 50s or 60s. So yeah, Why Johnny Can't Read. And then let's see. I should have been prepared for this question. Why Johnny Can't Read. Well, this is really, I think The Power of Broke. The Power Broke is one of my favorite books. It's by Damon John, but it's not really a homeschool. I guess it is because, that helps get my mindset right as far as why I need to hustle up, like why I need to get my stuff together because these people have made it and they were broke as well. And then The Miseducation of the Negro. I mean, everybody got to read that book. If you ain't read that book and you are raising an African-American child, well, then I think you might be a couple steps behind. And yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's some good books out there, but and then like one book I recently read, and I think everyone should probably read is The Hate You Give. I forget the author of The Hate You Give, but it just talks about how we're dealing with discrimination as far as police brutality. And it ain't even really police brutality. It's just how we're misunderstood, racial profiling and that type of thing. So, yeah.
Those are good.
But yeah, I think The Miseducation of the Negro would be one definitely, and Why Johnny Can't Read. If you're raising young kids, Why Johnny Can't Read.
Okay, very good. Now, you just mentioning all those books, that one thing that I have found and I have struggled in the past with too is just continuing to better myself as a person through reading and homeschooling and keeping up with the house and cooking and cleaning, blah, 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 blah. So then you find you don't have time to develop yourself. Can you speak to that?
Get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Homeschool moms, I mean, we will teach our kids. Yeah, we will teach our kids based on what we know and we're able to do. But for ourselves, like we kind of stop becoming better, educated, learning. We stop that. Speak to that, Dr. Sheva.
I mean,
tell us what we need to know here.
You have to figure out what's important to you, and whatever that is, you have to get up and study it. Like right about now, my interest is slavery. So I get up every morning. Like I said, I get up at 3, but part of that is that I read about slavery every morning. And, maybe another time in my life that I'm studying, say STEM. When I was studying STEM real heavy, that was my thing. I got up every morning and I read the statistics on STEM, read about STEM, read about how I can, take my children to the next level in STEM, all that. So for me, is you have, just like you make time to exercise at the beginning of the year when you want to lose weight, we have to make time to also study. And I mean, there's multiple courses out there you can take, but my thing is it's in a book. Like I'm not so quick to go pay somebody else for a course if I can read it in a book. Now, I'm not saying that there's no courses that I don't need, because Lord knows I do as far as business wise. However, I'm very picky about who I allow to coach me, because, I have a spirit of discernment. I don't want to be under you because you're trying to get paid. Right. I want to be under you because I feel like I can really learn from you. So yeah. It has to really be something that is going to nurture me and help me grow, because I'm investing my time. See, for
Sure.
me, it's not really about the money. Like, you know, it's about my time because I don't have much time. So if
Right.
I'm gonna sign you on to coach me, like it's gotta be about my time. It's gotta be good.
Absolutely.
Right. So other than that, I can read it. Like I don't need you to guide me through you know, a process that's not effective in my life. So
Right.
yeah. But you gotta get up early. Life starts early.
I hear you. Yes, I hear you. Well, listen, Dr. Sheva, here is the $1,000,000 question. Are you
What
ready?
is it?
Are you
Yep.
ready? So, if you have to start all over again in this
Mm-hmm.
homeschooling journey, but you have your current knowledge, wisdom, and insights about homeschooling, what would you do differently or change as you start this new homeschooling journey?
Wow. I think that hmm, gosh, that's a difficult question when you haven't had a bad journey. I think that I probably would have had more confidence in myself in the early years and just started charging for everything that I teach right off the bat. I would have really been intentional about making a homeschool teaching career online work, but I wasn't, basically because I think more so because of the fact that I just wasn't confident in what it was that I would probably be teaching, if that makes sense. You know, because when you're so consumed with your own children, like you really don't have time to pour into somebody else's children, or you really
Right,
don't have the time to study to make someone else great. You
right,
just have enough time to make you great. You know what I mean?
right, right. I
And
understand.
so I think that if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have lost some fear as to am I good enough earlier, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago,
Uh-huh.
opposed to, you know, it being now. Because I think, like I said, with the academy just started, this is our first year out as far as me coming on board teaching, you know, African American history classes and cultural classes. But part of the reason why is because I felt like that I didn't have the tools, or I didn't have the knowledge that I needed in order to be great. Like I knew some things, but I didn't know everything.
Okay.
And so the way I went about it, I'm like, okay, well, what if I teach other teachers how to teach online, and then they can teach my kids, right? Like if I train a teacher, then a teacher can't teach us, and I can just pay someone else. That was my mindset like two
Okay.
years ago, no joke.
Okay.
But that wasn't happening.
Okay.
Like I'm teaching teachers how to teach online, but they still are not teaching what I need them to teach. I mean, they're teaching, but it's not something that I need. So finally, I just had to come to a place and say, you know what, I got this. I can do this. And I got in there. I took the time to learn the material and just start doing it. And it's been a success. I
Okay.
mean, when I started the Black Classical Academy, I thought that I would probably have, I don't know, 10 students. I think we probably got about 50 students enrolled, right?
Wow.
Off the bat. No advertisement really other than them floating around a Facebook post. So what that tells me is that if I had to do it over, I could have done it better the first time in that rate,
Mm.
because people want to know. Like we want our children to be educated in these areas. It's just that
Right.
no one is doing it.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
That is good. That's good. As we come to a close here, what are some words of wisdom you can tell these homeschooling girlfriends? And then also just speak on what you have going on and how people can contact you. Well, okay, in a small sense.
In a small sentence, listen, you know I'm long-winded now.
Okay,
Child,
okay.
small, oh my
But give some words
goodness.
of wisdom. What Dr. Sheva, what we can see coming up from her that you want to get out to the community, and then how can we contact you?
Well, I think my words of wisdom is you got this. You know, regardless of how glam it may look, you got this. You just got to, you know, get your vision in place. Get your vision in place and get motivated to achieve success, and you got it. But it all starts with the vision.
Mhm.
And what do I have coming up? Well, like I said, we got the academy going on now, and we got Black Homeschooler Speaks, where we do interviews with Black homeschooling moms. That's going to be expanding though here soon. Is going to include all educators, so we're going to be changing the dynamics of that here soon. And then let's see, hopefully in the fall we'll have a magazine coming out so people can you know, advertise their businesses and just get more of educators out there, you know, acknowledging their businesses and what they do, because I think we do so much, it just never gets publicized. Like,
okay. Yeah.
like our friends know about it, right? You know, like, oh yeah, I know Sheva does that. Oh yeah, I know Jackie does this. But does everybody know? So I think that we have to work better at getting the word out as to what all we possibly do. So hopefully that something like that will come in the fall. And yeah. Oh, over in my Facebook group, which is Homeschooling with Dr. Sheva Quinn, we have a book challenge going on, a 60-day book challenge. Write a book in 60 days. It is free. There is no entry, anything like that. Just join us. I think it's on Wednesdays and Sunday nights starting February. And I'll take you through the whole book writing process as to how I do it, and, you know, in support. So group, I come from more of a business type mindset, you know, and just trying to help women or families get their business in order, opposed to the whole homeschool perspective as, you know, what's the right curriculum and all that. Because hell, I don't know all the curriculums, because I hardly ever use a curriculum. Like most of the things that my kids learn comes from me, you know, putting some things together for them. So yeah, so I try to get your mind right so you can get some coins in your pocket.
That's what we said. That's good.
So that's it, I think. Where can you find me? You can find me at anywhere. I'm all over the internet as Dr. Sheva Quinn. That's who I am. That's who you put in Dr. Sheva Quinn, you'll find me.
Okay. All right. Well, beautiful. Well, homeschool, you are the sum of the average of the 5 people you hang around. And you can hang with Dr. Sheva Quinn. So keep up the momentum and connect with other homeschoolers who provide value to your life and to your homeschooling journey. And just remember, to teach a child is to touch a life. And as we homeschool, we not only touch a life, but we also shape the future through our efforts of homeschooling. So keep making a positive impact day after day, year after year. And just remember, Dr. Sheva said, you got this. You got this.
You got this.
Your vision and get it done without a plan B. So thank you, Dr. Sheva Quinn. Thank you all for joining us today on Girlfriends Guide to Homeschool with Angela, Jordan, and Perry. You can find this on my YouTube channel at Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling, and it's also on the Facebook page, Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling. So thank you very much, Dr. Quinn. And
talk to you guys later.
Woohoo! Thank you.